They are wrong for treating him badly, yes, but this is what people who hate each other do at the end, isn't it? I feel like
يعني كان على حالة هم اللي يطلبوا منا فلوس. They're the ones who started it all. You get the idea?
it's it's mutual. He's good and they're good. He's very bad and they're bad.
Yes, in a way. Mm.
Oh, so he said if you, I'm not sure because it's basically Old English, but he said if like you taught me or say anything to me and like give it back to you, do we not get hurt or something?
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, he's pleading or he's appealing to their humanity, right? So he's saying I'm a human just like you, even though I'm a Jew, I have eyes, I have hands, I have organs, I'm a human being. I bleed if you hurt me. So my point
Mhm.
is we want to have a nuanced do you know what nuance means? Nuance.
No.
All right. Nuance is an interesting word. Nuance means when you see something from as many angles as you can. So, for example, and this is what's interesting about Shakespeare's characters. They're not two-dimensional. They're nuanced. It means they're complex. They develop, just like you said early on when you said his character goes through developments or changes. This is something that
Yeah.
Shakespeare and most great writers do. Their characters are nuanced. So even when they're a villain or when we can call them an antagonist, because we can call in this play Shylock certainly is the antagonist. He's the bad guy. He's the villain. There's no doubt about it. But he's not a two-dimensional, villain. He's nuanced. He is bad, but there are some lines or some parts where there's a bit of humanity that shows, where he's more interested in, the sentimental value of the ring, or he's saddened by the loss of his daughter when she leaves him. These things. So it shows you that there are a little bit of exceptions, and the same thing with our protagonists. So if we want to talk about uh, Antonio, Antonio is the protagonist, or he's the good guy, the hero in the story, right? In Merchant of Venice. But at the same time, he's not completely pure, right? Because if you think of it,
Oh,
why would he be willing to help his friend get the money if he knew that his friend was after Portia just for her money? So in a way, he's
he
helping
doesn't
his
know
friend.
that.
You think he doesn't know it?
He was told that he wants the money so he can go visit Portia. So Bassanio goes and visits Portia with anyone who has good intentions. He'll think that Bassanio went to Portia to see her, to consort her, or whatever they say it is.
Yeah. Okay, yes, but eventually the scene or the meeting at that back then, because people didn't see each other socially, right? People, if you saw someone, you wanted to get married to him, or married to her. So he knew that Bassanio was, or at least he should have known that Bassanio was interested in Portia. He wanted to marry her, and maybe he missed his intention. I don't know. Maybe he knew. This is another issue. But my point is, he's still culpable. He's still responsible for putting both himself and Bassanio in this situation where they owed money to the Jew. Do you get the idea? So in a way,
Bassanio really owed money to Antonio.
sorry.
It was Antonio's fault that he borrowed money for Bassanio in the first place because Bassanio was also in debt to Antonio.
Okay, but
It wasn't Antonio's fault that Bassanio got stuck in this position because he was already in it in the first place.
yes, okay. If that's true, that makes Antonio even worse because you're enabling you're enabling someone who's addicted to addicted to borrowing money and not returning it. Do you get the idea? You're enabling bad behavior. It's like when you're a friend to an addict, a drug addict, and you know that this addict is going to spend their money to buy drugs, and then you give this addict money, you're enabling this addict. Do you get the idea? That's not a good. I'm trying to be the devil's advocate. Do you know this expression, devil's advocate? Yeah. So devil's advocate is when in when debating over a point, just like I'm doing with you, I'm always giving you the opposite point of view. Do you get the idea?
Yeah, to
I'm
get
trying to get you to
confused.
improve your argument because you're on the side that's saying Antonio is the villain and Shylock is the villain, Antonio is the good guy. I'm trying to do the opposite thing. I'm trying to show you points where Shylock isn't really bad and Antonio is bad. I'm doing this intentionally, not to provoke you or or upset you, no, but just to show you that
Yeah,
that there's another side you can also argue for, or another side that might have something to consider. So that's one point we can take against Antonio. He's a good friend. He would, happily die for Bassanio. Bassanio too would happily die for Antonio. But at the same time, their behavior, I mean, they are the ones who actually went to the Jew and borrowed money. The Jew didn't force himself on them. Do you get the idea? يعني كان على حالة هم اللي
yeah,
طلبوا منا فلوس. They're the ones who started it all. Do you get the idea? So they went looking for trouble. They knew he was a money lender. They knew he was a Jew, and they treated him badly even before they borrowed money from him. And even when they borrowed money from him, they were treating him badly, and they continued to treat him badly even when they couldn't return the debt, right? And then they had Portia dress up as a lawyer and lie, and
no,
they
but
took to,
Portia did it without them knowing.
sorry.
They didn't know it was Portia. Portia did it without them knowing.
Still, I mean, Portia played an immoral part if you think of it, right? She lied and she used the law to get back at Shylock, even though
Yeah, because it's the law.
by law Shylock had the right to get his money back, and by law he had the right to ask for a pound of flesh by law. But of course, in the play, they expected him to be merciful. هم كانوا عابين عليه بيمشي الموضوع. But he didn't. This is what created the tension in the play, because if you
No,
take if you Mhm.
it was all his fault because in the law it says, like you said, you could give a pound of flesh, but it was by choice. Why would he start all of this if it was by choice? If someone needed money, they would go to a money lender because that's their title to borrow, like, because they needed to borrow money. They are wrong for treating him badly, yes, but this is what people who hate each other do at the end, isn't it? I feel like it's it's mutual. He's good and they're good. He's very bad and they're bad.
Yes, in a way, in a way we can say there's a bit of moral ambiguity. Ambiguity. Do you know what this means? Moral ambiguity?
No,
All right.
ambiguity, no.
Yeah, ambiguity, it means when something is not clear cut. The line between good and bad isn't very, very clear.
Yeah,
It's kind of muddy. So if we say Shylock is bad, I would agree with you. Shylock is bad. He's not good. But if you say absolutely bad, I would kind of disagree with you. He's not absolutely bad. And the same goes for Antonio and Bassanio and Portia. All three of
doctor
them.
said he's a married devil.
Sorry.
His daughter said that her household is a hell, and her dad is a married devil. If her daughter said that, I mean, it proves the point.
Yeah, but her daughter also has some self-interest because she wants to marry a Christian, right? And she knows as a Jew, she shouldn't marry a Christian. Uh, so she
Yeah.
that's why so no wonder she's turning against her father because she's doing something she's not supposed to. So it's really convenient for her if you think of it. It's convenient for her to turn against her father because she already found another man who happened to be Christian. So in a way, if you think of it, it's kind of like everybody ganged up against Shylock, especially with the mock trial when Portia dressed up as a lawyer,
No,
because
what
he
did they do to him?
what they did to him, they forced him to become a Christian and give half of his wealth, and they were the ones who betrayed, uh, you know, who betrayed the deal, who didn't pay him back, and instead put him into through this mock trial to convert him into Christianity, force him to convert into Christianity, because this is here in this part. Here, this is something that Portia said when she was dressed up as a lawyer. She said, "The quality of mercy is not strained; it dropped as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. Uh, it blessed him that gives and him that takes." So in a way, she's appealing to mercy that she's telling, which is a biblical quality from the Bible, from the New Testament. Of course, in the New Testament اللي هو الإنجيل, this is Christianity. Like in اليهود هم عندهم التوراة, the Old Testament, and it's very very different. The Old Testament is very different from the New Testament because Shylock is a
It's
Jew.
changed.
اللي هو التوراة يعني القديم with the Old Testament اللي هو النظام بتاع Shylock, it's very strict, eye for an eye. Do you get the idea?
Yeah.
That's their system. It's very strict. With the New Testament, with Jesus, it's kind of godly love, mercy, compassion. So the Christians in the play are all appealing to Shylock to use Christian sensibilities. They're appealing to his mercy, but at the same time, they didn't show him any mercy when they took his half his wealth and they forced him to convert to Christianity. Do you see the hypocrisy here? Do you get my point?
Yes, now that's, I would agree with you. That's pretty bad. The
Yeah,
only thing. Because he did, yes, he did nothing wrong, but he did something wrong, but not wrong enough to take all his money and convert him to Christianity from his religion. So,
yeah.
yes,
Well,
that's.
technically, it's not all his money. It's half his fortune. But this was actually the good scenario because the bad scenario they were about to execute him. Uh, they, so they kind of this is so in an ironic way, this is merciful. Do you get the idea? It's merciful that they allowed him to live.
Yeah.